Vamos a hablar de los pronombres de complemento directo e indirecto. This means that we're going to talk about direct and indirect object pronouns. First, let's talk about the direct object pronouns. We're going to make a six-pack of them. Here they are. Me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, las. We'll talk about what they mean in a second. Here are your indirect object pronouns de complemento indirecto. Me, te, le, nos, os, les. Okay, so let's talk about what direct object pronouns are. Aquí están unos apuntes. Here are some notes. Direct object pronouns receive the action of the verb. For ejemplo, in inglés, I kick it. If I'm referring to the ball, it's directly receiving the action of my verb, to kick. She calls me. I'm directly receiving the action of the verb, her calling me. Indirect object pronouns answer the question to whom or for whom. Por ejemplo, in inglés, I give the book to Antonia. Antonia in Spanish would be replaced with le. She's our indirect object, so my indirect object pronoun would replace Antonia. He tells a lie to his mom. So what's my indirect object in the sentence? His mom. So that would be replaced with le also. Where do we place the pronoun in a Spanish sentence? Before we look at that, let's first look at an ejemplo in inglés. Federico reads the book. The book is directly receiving the action of the verb reads. So we know that the book is going to be with the pronoun lo. It is a direct object pronoun. El libro is masculine. Okay, so here I have Federico lee el libro. Just like we established, lo is our pronoun to replace el libro. So where do we place it? Before our conjugated verb. Here's lee, it goes before. You can't attach it, you can't let it follow after. It has to go before your conjugated verb with sentences like this. Here's an example of an indirect object pronoun. Sonia gives her boyfriend a dog. What is our indirect object in the sentence? Her boyfriend. Who does she give the gift to? To her boyfriend. So it answers that question. Her boyfriend is the indirect object. Okay, clases, so here's that sentence in Spanish. Sonia le da un perro a su novio. First, let's identify our objects. We have our indirect object right here. That's our indirect object. Whenever you have an indirect object in a sentence, you have to have the indirect object pronoun le in the sentence. It's redundant, but you have to have it. So Sonia le da un perro a su novio. So now if I want to replace my indirect object altogether, I'm going to take out the a su novio part and just leave it with the le. Sonia le da un perro. Now let's talk about how you use them together. It's a very simple formula. You have your I-O, your D-O, conjugated verb. Por ejemplo, he gives me flowers. Okay, let's first identify what our I-O and D-O are. My I-O is me. He gives me flowers. To whom does he give them? Me. So I know that my I-O is me. My D-O is flowers. Because that's basically answering the question, well, what does he give me? Flowers. So this is my D-O. So now let's put that into Spanish. Él me da flores a mí. He gives me flowers. The whole point of pronouns is they simplify sentences. Instead of saying, he gives me flowers, he gives Sophia flowers, he gives whomever flowers, you want to simplify them and say, he gives me them, for example. So we've got our I-O, which is the me. We've got our D-O, las, from las flores. And then here is our conjugated verb. I-O-D-O conjugated verb. We're going to talk about using the pronoun se. In Spanish, we can't say le los, le las, les los, les las, les lo, les las. The two L's together. They decided that just sounds awful. It's a huge mouthful. So they decided to make se instead of le when you have double object pronouns like that. So here's an example in English. I bring Ramona some sodas. Okay? First, we're going to identify what our I-O and our D-O are in this sentence. Our I-O, remember that answers the question, to whom, is Ramona. To whom am I bringing sodas? Ramona. So that's our I-O. So think about what pronoun you would use for that. Le, right? Now let's look at our D-O. What's being brought? Sodas. That's los refrescos. So what's your D-O-P going to be, your direct object pronoun? Los. Okay, again, we know the formula is I-O-D-O conjugated verb. So it would be le los. That sounds awful. We can't do that. So let's see what we're going to do. Here's that sentence in Spanish. Yo le traigo unos refrescos a Ramona. Okay? Remember, clase, since I have an indirect object, I need to have an indirect object pronoun in the same sentence. Now, like I said, we can't say yo le los traigo. That's too many L's. So this se was really le at one point, but we can't say that. It's grammatically incorrect. Yo se los traigo. Gracias, clase. Hasta luego.